So here we are in DC for another packed day of meetings on Capitol Hill in support of the Black Maternal Health Momnibus. We're meeting with Representative Lauren Underwood, Senator Warnock, Duckworth, the list goes on and on and on, but we're just so grateful to be just that much closer to making this monumental legislation possible. So grateful to be here with the team from Bobbie for Change, with my dear friend Elaine Welteroth, and we're just gonna apply some pressure. We're gonna sit down, look these representatives in their eye, and tell them why we need to pass the Momnibus and why we need to pass it right now. We are really here today to figure out what we can do to collectively use our influence, use our resources to bring this thing home. What do we need to do to get a handful of Republican support to get it done? And so while we're working on saving moms, we want to really talk about a pathway to uplifting positive stories and really centering Black birth and joy.
This isn't an issue that was top of mind for me at all. Like for many women, it isn't until it's your turn. I'm here because here is not here. I'm here because while I had a successful birthing experience, I came very close to understanding how deeply rooted this problem is. No matter your level of education, your status, your resources, your connections, it couldn't save me from this system that was not set up for us.
The first meeting we had this morning was with Representative Presley, who is one of the loudest voices for just racial equity across the board, and she has made Black maternal health care a huge, huge, huge pillar of her work here on Capitol Hill.
I personally have never been more optimistic. I think we are very close to substantive legislative action now.
I say there's always a value add in preaching to the choir because you need the choir to sing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me know where you need me to sing.
All right, so here we're in the lobby of our second stop. So grateful to have some time with the Democratic Whip, Councilman Clark. First of all, we got some sunshine. It's warm, we're feeling good, got great momentum, and it's gonna be an amazing day, man. But I mean, just look at this. It's nice, man. It's nice in here.
There is a deep injustice, feeling lucky that I survived birth in the richest country in the world in 2023. We've only heard the tragic stories that make us want to turn away. But what is it like when we partner, tell those stories, and also show the alternative?
Being able to humanize this issue has been a game changer, right? Being able to make this not about the data analysis, it's about the individual stories, because every single one of these lives, every single one of these families, every single one of these mothers is precious and important. So I'm glad that resonated with her. So gotta keep telling your story.
Hey, I'm Elaine Welteroth, and I'm a journalist and an author, and I am here in DC with Michelle from Bobbie for Change.
Hi there, I'm Michelle Lampak from Bobbie for Change. I'm a lawyer, a mother, and I'm leading our social impact and policy work at Bobbie, which is an infant formula company. We're partnering with 4Kira4Moms on this journey, trying to reintroduce and pass the Momnibus this year.
Now is the moment to strike in terms of taking action, because we can only keep the public's attention so long on an issue when we're not moving the needle.
What it can look like when families have all the resources they need to not only survive but thrive the birthing process, right? And understanding that once we fix these issues for Black moms, we fix it for all moms.
So Langston's birthday is April 12th. What's he like?
He is a character.
Yeah.
He is like, so Langston is, I can't wait for you to meet the boy. So Langston is, and I'll show you videos so you can see. He is smallest kid in his entire class, right? But he's very much like his mom's spirit, just like all energy, like never met a stranger, like lights up any room, like plays sports, like has zero fear, but also very kind and very, very, very compassionate. Charles is a very old soul, like extremely mature for his age. He's very, very, very chill. He's what I call a slow thaw. So he checks people out, scopes it out, and nothing gets by him. Like no detail, no like. He's like a what do you call a court stenographer? Like he can run back the record on everything.
This is my boy, Albie.
Look at all that hair.
He's got so much hair, but you have to watch this. This is him. This is on February 5th. He's singing, I'm screaming, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.
I love it.
February 5th.
I love it. That's my guy. That's
also,
my
we're
guy.
Jewish.
That's okay.
He's
I
so
love
into
it.
Christmas.
I love it.
He just starts screaming on February 5th. I'm like, sweetie, we are so past Christmas.
I love it. No, it's Christmas, man.
So yeah, we
I love
like
it.
the man bun situation
I love
all
it.
day long. It's, you know, like, I don't know how you feel, but like, it's a sacrifice traveling. And I feel, and I say, and I told you I lost my dad at the end of October.
You did. You told me.
Charles. And I feel like changing the world and leaving a better legacy, a legacy of change and a better world for them is worth the sacrifice. But it is hard.
So I don't know if I told you like about my reoccurring nightmare. I told you that? Did I tell you that?
No, but it's probably the same nightmare that I have.
So mine is that I have this reoccurring nightmare that
I can't.
I fix all this, right? Like Momnibus is passed, moms are no longer dying, all of it. Like everything that you can imagine, fix it, right? And I walk back into my house, like, just like anxious, like with my kid, and they're grown, and they're adults. Right?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And yeah, and like I would have that over, and I'm sorry.
You're giving up a lot, I know.
That for me is why these conversations when people bullshit me, it's like nah. Nah, okay, you're bullshitting, you're not with it. I'll find another way, right? Like, but no is not acceptable. Compromising it isn't acceptable. Lauren Underwood is the consummate champion, founder of the Black Maternal Health Caucus, and she is steadfast through regardless of what comes up. From the minute she set foot in Washington, D.C., she has made Black maternal health a priority, right? Her background is nursing. She was good friends with Shalon Irving, who I was mentioning to you, who is a Black woman who was actually a brilliant researcher, I believe PhD, worked for the CDC studying the maternal mortality crisis, and still passed
and lost
away.
her life to the very issue
right?
she was researching.
So
that's so tragic in a way that's, I can't even process that.
I've been bragging on you all day, bro.
Oh, man.
I've been bragging on you all day.
I appreciate
This is the man, the myth, the legend, right? This is Jack. This is the meeting that we've really been waiting for because we want to know substantively what we can do to get this thing across the finish line. And I told them that you are the wizard of the Momnibus, right? So we're excited to be here, man.
Well, the Congresswoman is, excited to see you. So good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Look,
Good.
it's so I'm trying not to embarrass you when I come up here, because that's all I do is I trade off your name when I come to the Hill. I'm like, y'all know Jack.
So we just left Representative Lauren Underwood's office, and honestly, that was the most energizing conversation we've had today. She gave us tangible, tactical takeaways that we can actually use as next steps.
She told us there's actually money, federal money, that's available nationally for organizations on the ground, researchers doing this work. They need to apply for it. They need help in reporting on it and accessing it. So that's something that we really hope to do, like from this meeting, to connect to our networks and put out there on our platforms.
Yeah, it's really satisfying to have an immediate next step to implement. I think a lot of our meetings have been, as we've been saying, preaching to the choir. And I wish that we were walking out with something a little bit more tangible, a little bit more actionable. We really wanted this trip to be tactical in the sense that we are walking away feeling like we have made some sort of strategic win here. And I think that after this meeting with Representative Underwood, we feel that way. But I will say, I also got a takeaway from Representative Ayanna Pressley when we talked about preaching to the choir. She said, listen, don't underestimate the power of preaching to the choir because you need the choir to sing.
Yes.
And I loved that so much. It really reframed kind of the impact of some of these meetings, because while we know that all of the lawmakers that we met with today are in support of the Momnibus, I think having these conversations is probably re-energizing for them.
Yes.
And I think it's reprioritizing. I think it allows it to kind of move up a bit on the agenda. What would you say is sort of your objective or your goal going into these last two meetings of the day?
I think I'd like to tell them the work that we've been given by Representative Underwood, because in addition to accessing these federal dollars, it's also, from my side of it, it's how to connect corporations and their CEOs in states that maybe need additional support. So to get that word out there and just socialize this corporate maternal alliance, this coalition that we're trying to build, and see where that lands, and kind of take a temperature pulse on that, and then also see if they have any other ideas how to use us for us to be of service, because this is multifaceted where everyone has a role to play in this work.
Absolutely. I guess one other takeaway from our meeting with Representative Underwood is that she feels very confident that the Momnibus is going to get passed, and not just it's going to get passed, but this spring. She actually put a timeline on it. So that was very heartening.
Yeah.
She seemed pretty confident about that. So the work's happening.
Yeah.
Every single time I get the opportunity to come to Capitol Hill, it's surreal. Today has got to be one of the most impactful trips I've made to DC. To think about where we started almost 2 years ago when we introduced this bill, to hear the support that we have, the awareness, and people willing to even think beyond the Momnibus, to provisions that will create a legacy that will impact families far after we're gone. It's amazing, man. And to have partners like Bobbie and to really talk about galvanizing a coalition of support from companies and juggernauts who say that they believe in making our country a better, safer place for mothers and babies. Well, we have the opportunity to make them prove it, man. And so we're talking about pathways for people to get involved in aspects that they haven't had before. For me, this is big. I just remember when I first started doing this in 2017, nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew Kira's story. So every time I walked into one of these offices, I would have to start from scratch, tell my story, literally relive the worst day of my life, and still half the people would be in there just scratching their heads. So to be here on Capitol Hill, where people know Kira's story, know the stories of other mothers and women that have lost their lives, it's powerful, man. It's just a testament to the work that so many advocates have been doing. And so to take that momentum and capitalize on it is so important, right? Just not having to tell the story every time I go into one of these meetings, man, is progress. Not only do they know Kira's story, but they know the stories of Shalonda Irving, right? Of April Valentine, of all these mothers that have been lost. And so I'm just grateful for all the advocates that champion in this 24/7, 365. And I also have to just say, I'm so grateful for the women, and particularly the Black women, that were fighting for this issue far before I even knew it was a problem, right? This fight didn't start with me, and it didn't start with Kira. It started decades ago with advocates and midwives that were really just trying desperately to get Congress and our country to pay attention. And so I'm just grateful for that, and I really am here standing on the shoulders of their work and their blood, sweat, and tears. I think another thing for me that I really always kind of struggle with, and what I said to one of the senators today is, I don't have any big donors. I'm not propped up by any big corporations. I work for the families. I work for the families that have lost moms, or the families that have experienced traumatic birthing experiences. And so every time I get an opportunity to be in one of these rooms, I bring every single one of those experiences with me. And I just do my best to make sure that I don't let them down. Here we are, last stop of the day. We are outside of the office of Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock, the senator from my home state, Kira's home state of Georgia. And the really amazing part about today's meeting is that Senator Warnock is also the Senate sponsor for the Kira Dixon Johnson Act, which is actually a bill in honor of Kira. So we're so proud to be partnering with Senator Warnock to sit here, thank him, and talk about how we can strategically galvanize support to make sure that the Momnibus gets done. So I just want to express gratitude to Senator Warnock and his team for being champions and being steadfast in the midst of so many things that are going on Capitol Hill. They've remained champions for this issue, so extremely grateful. This is going to be an amazing meeting and an amazing way to end an absolutely incredible day on Capitol Hill. And we got it done. We got it done. Another day of meetings in the bag. Thank you to the team that made this happen. I feel good, man. I feel so close to getting this done, man. And it was amazing to meet with Senator Warnock. It was an amazing way to finish today. But yeah, we're about to make this thing pop, man. Stay tuned. Now I gotta catch this flight. Ooh, yikes. Amazing day. I'm about to make this mad dash to catch this flight back home so I can put the boys to bed. Whew, this is what it's all about, man. I just feel reinvigorated, more determined than ever to get this done, man. Just knowing that there's so many people up here committed to bringing this across the finish line. This is big, man. This is big. So yes, and as soon as we pass the Momnibus, we're coming back with even more aggressive, more substantial legislation to lay the groundwork to make sure that we never, ever, ever have to worry about losing mothers giving the gift of life, right? And that's what this is all about. And as I've said many times before, although there's nothing I can do to bring Kira back, the highest honor that I can pay her is to do everything I can, whenever I can, to make sure we send other mothers home with their babies. So that's it for me, signing off from Washington, D.C. Another amazing trip to Capitol Hill. Thank you to Elaine, thank you to the team at Bobbie, thank you to all the congressmen, all the senators, all the staffers, and all of you who signed petitions, called your senators, allowed me to harass you, and who believed in us. And we're grateful. We're grateful. Until next time, peace and love.